Lord.
Good morning once again, my brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ. Welcome to another Living Hope Today study. Today we find ourselves again going through these very, very specific instructions that God gives to Moses about all these things that need to be built in order to worship God while they're out in the wilderness. Well, it's very specific, and sometimes you need to just look at Scripture and say, why, God? Why are you telling us all this? Because to me and you, it might appear that these things are sort of, unimportant. We're never going to build a tabernacle for ourselves, are we? We live in a day and age in the new covenant where the Spirit of God lives inside of us. But back then, before the cross, the tabernacle was the place where people met with God. And it's very important to God. He spills a lot of ink trying to communicate to us what he's doing here. So let's spend our attention and ask the Lord to show us what's happening in these verses as we go through it. Here we are in chapter 26 in the book of Exodus, and God is giving his instruction. He says, make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of finely twisted linen and blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, with cherubim worked into them by a skilled craftsman. Remember, the Israelites plundered the Egyptians on the way out, so we're assuming that these materials are available to them because of the overabundance of things they've carried out of Egypt. Verse 2, all the curtains are to be the same size, 28 cubits long, 4 cubits wide. You say, well, Pastor, how big is a cubit? They used to measure a cubit by measuring from the top of the finger to the elbow. It's generally speaking about 18 inches, according to what I could find in my research about it. Again, they don't have tape measures. There's not an exact Western world logical precise size to a cubit. But generally speaking, just keep in mind 18 inches. So God says, join 5 of the curtains together and do the same with the other 5. Make loops of blue material along the edge of the end of the curtain in one set, and do the same with the end curtain in the other set. Make 50 loops on one curtain and 50 loops on the end curtain of the other set, with the loops opposite each other. Again, you seamstresses have to tell me how hard that is. Then make 50 gold clasps and use them to fasten the curtains together so that the tabernacle is a unit. So God is proposing curtains that go around the whole tabernacle area. Make curtains of goat hair for the tent over the tabernacle, 11 altogether. All 11 curtains are to be the same size. Now he's going to tell us about the curtains that cover the tabernacle, 30 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. He says, join 5 of the curtains together into one set and the other 6 into another set. Fold the 6th curtain double at the front of the tent. Make 50 loops along the edge of the end curtain in one set, and along the set of the end curtain in the other set. Then make 50 bronze clasps and put them in the loops to fasten the tent together as a unit. As for the additional length of the tent curtains, the half curtain that is left over is to hang down at the rear of the tabernacle. You know, we read these verses and we think, when somebody asks me what my life verse is, it's probably not found in Exodus 26. Just think about how specific, how much time, how much effort God does expend here to bring his dimensions and his construction to reality. He says, I want the tent curtains that'll be a cubit longer on both sides. What is left will hang over the sides of it, the tabernacle, so as to cover it. Make for the tent a covering of ram skins dyed red, and over that a covering of hides of sea cows. Make upright frames of acacia wood for the tabernacle. Each frame is to be 10 cubits long and a cubit and a half wide, with 2 projections set parallel to each other. Make all the frames of the tabernacle in this way. Make 20 frames for the south side of the tabernacle. Wow. And make 40 silver bases to go under them. 2 bases for each frame, 1 under each projection. For the other side, the north side of the tabernacle, make 20 frames and 40 silver bases, 2 under each frame. Make 6 frames for the far end, that is the west end of the tabernacle. Make 2 frames for the corners at the far end. At these 2 corners, they must be double from the bottom all the way to the top and fitted into a single ring. Both shall be like that. So there will be 8 frames and 16 silver bases, 2 under each frame. Also make crossbars of acacia wood, 5 for the frames on one side of the tabernacle, 5 for those on the other side, and 5 for the frames on the west at the far end of the tabernacle. The center crossbar is to extend from end to end at the middle of the frames. Overlay the frames with gold and make gold rings to hold the crossbars. Also overlay the crossbars with gold. Set up the tabernacle according to the plans shown you on the mountain. Oh, you remember Moses went up the mountain and spent 40 days with God, and God apparently laid out all these things. I'm going to show you what this looks like according to an artist's rendition here in a minute. Make a curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen with cherubim worked into it by a skilled craftsman. Hang it with gold hooks on the 4 posts of acacia wood overlaid with gold and standing on 4 silver bases. Hang the curtains from the clasps and place the ark of the testimony behind the curtain. The curtain will separate, here we go, the holy place from the most holy place. Even in this tent and portable construction of a temple, we call it the tabernacle, God has a holy of holy place. This is a place reserved for God's presence, and only a priest can enter it. At least that's how it'll play out as time passes and an actual temple is built. But just notice, this tabernacle is a prototype for what's coming. It's not as big, we'll see that in a second, but it is a similar structure in terms of what's included. Put the atonement cover on the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. Place the table outside the curtain on the north side of the tabernacle and put the lampstand opposite on the south side. For the entrance to the tent, make a curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen and the work of an embroiderer. Notice how God is unwilling to let an unskilled person accomplish this structure, from the sewing of the things like a cherubim into the curtain to these kinds of things, making this entrance curtain. It has to be excellent. Make gold hooks for this curtain and 5 posts of acacia wood overlaid with gold. Cast 5 bronze bases for them. So now, you've read Exodus 26. What have you learned? Well, when I ask myself that question, what have we learned in all this? Well, we've learned that God wants a place constructed that symbolizes his presence in the community and provides the community with a place that's holy, that's sacred. He is setting a dwelling among them that is set apart from their normal routine day, right? They have this place now to meet with God. It's also portable, so God knows when he moves this community of of his people through the wilderness. This tabernacle is going to go with them. They are going to set it up again wherever they go. All right, so what does this look like? Well, I just want to point out the Ark of the Covenant. Again, here's an interesting little thing. If you think about the dimensions, 4.5 feet long, 2.25 feet wide, 2.25 feet high. We saw that yesterday in Exodus 25. These are the dimensions. We'll see the Ark of the Covenant move forward as we look at Numbers 14 and 1 Kings 8, these verses down here. But look at this. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It might not be as big as you thought it would be, but there it is, as rendered by the artists. Okay, remember God asked them to build a table in chapter 25. Well, here's the artist's rendition of what that table would look like. Gold with poles to hold. Eventually we'll see this in use. It's going to hold the showbread, is what it's called. Remember, we were also told to construct a lampstand. Here's the artist's rendition of that. Again, God requires pure gold. And I want you to take a look at this. It's very interesting. This structure on the left is Solomon's temple, or I'm sorry, Ezekiel's temple. It's huge. Here's the temple Herod built here. Okay, well, in the end, what do we have? This little place right here, size-wise, this is the court of the tabernacle. This is how big that is. Compare that down here to this American football field, right? You could almost get 2 or 3 of these in the area of a football field, just to give you some context of what's happening here. Here's a rendition of the tabernacle. You see the temple over here, the brazen laver. We're going to get to that. Here the slaughter tables are. Here's that entrance down here. We see where those purple curtains were told to be built. This is the area. You see this outside curtain that goes all the way around the structure. Again, this is put here by God to seal himself off, to make sure the people understand that his worship needs to be reverent. His worship needs to be set apart. If you're going to go worship God in this holy place, you need to understand.
Lord, we give you glory, we give you honor, we lift your name.
I'm back. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. I guess I know how to do that pretty well. Anyway, that was the tabernacle. Now, look at this. Here's the tabernacle explained a little more deeply. I know you probably can't read all this print, but I just want to point out, number 1 here at the far end of the tabernacle, this is the Holy of Holies. Also in here is the Ark of the Covenant. You have the veil, you have the altar of incense, you have the lampstand. That's down here. Here's the outer veil that we saw referenced earlier. All right. Then again, the tables and the courtyard, and we'll get to the burnt offering altar as we proceed in the book. But that gives you just a little snapshot of what we're looking at. This is God's command to God's people to say, worship me here. I'll meet you here. Wow. There'll be several more chapters where God continues to build on this and outline other things for his tabernacle, and we'll follow those as we move forward. I pray that you just think in your heart today how important worship is to God. It's very structured in the sense of it needs to be reverent, holy, set apart. As you pray to him today, let's all keep it in mind. God bless you, church. Serve him well.
Lord, we give you glory, we give you honor.